Hello, and thanks for tuning in to As Word Spreads, a BC podcast by youth for youth.
For this episode, we are talking about 9 struggles that youth in care will understand.
Oh my gosh, the struggle is real.
So number 1 is not being able to hold a stable relationship. And so what I think that was kind of explaining is when you're a foster youth and you're being put through house or group home through group home, how are you supposed to grow one stable relationship? If that makes sense. I mean, the only stable relationship you would have is your social worker, and they aren't even easy to contact at some points. So I think over time, like I had a friend who went 7 years and been through 12 different foster cares and group homes, and to this day, like, they don't have very good mental health. It's hard for them to grow healthy relationships on their own. And so what I think is really important is just the fact that there should be support given to these youth. But in general, I think it's really hard for them to grow a stable relationship when they never even have had one.
A lot of kids that go to foster care already have trust issues. I did for sure. Like, even now, I've been with my foster family for 3 years, and I still don't trust them. I don't believe that they actually care for me, and yeah.
Number 2 is relationships with your social worker. So this is also connecting back to the not being able to hold a stable relationship. I just think it's really important because when a youth has only one social worker, only that one person that they can rely on, and like they're busy sometimes, they're hard to reach, they're hard to get to, and so what's really kind of scary about that is the fact that that's their probably one or only stable relationship, healthy relationship. And I think people kind of overpass how important healthy relationships are. I mean, who would you be without that one person that you need, that one person you look up to? And so, yeah, that's just my opinion on that.
My past foster worker, she was really bad at doing her job. She would not get things signed in time, and she was working on my paperwork for me to become a Canadian citizen, and that took 4 years. And then now that I got a new social worker, and he got it done in 6 months. So, wow. Social workers are...
Mm-hmm. I also had a friend, I have so many friends, a friend who went through 5 social workers, and 1 out of the 5 was okay. Like, that's not even good, right? He just had said that this social worker was okay. They actually got in contact with him instead of him having to reach out to them. They got in contact with him, and like, kind of going back to the whole like relationships with social worker thing, like there are things like school field trips that you need slips to be signed, or like being able to go to a conference, being able to do anything in general. A social worker, that's like that one guardian that's there for you. I just think it's really sad that 1 out of 5 social workers was okay.
Yeah, I've had many social workers. They always change. Like, always change. And one thing I didn't like about the change was that they always came into my house with like this big binder asking me all these questions, like getting to know me. And I'm like the kind of person that doesn't like to open up to everyone. And that ties in with our previous topic, stable relationships. So these social workers, they always told me that they would do monthly checkups, take us out for like lunch, like have a conversation. Every single one promised that. And I maybe saw them one time a year. So that's what made me mad.
Mm-hmm.
Going back on the book thing, how they come to your house with a big book of questions, it really pissed me off because like they had to look at questions to get to know me. I'm like, make up your own, like ask me your own questions that seems like you're actually interested in me. And that's the thing that really pissed me off.
Number 3 is not feeling wanted.
When I first went into foster care, it was because my adoptive family was really messed up. They treated us like really poorly. So I wanted to move to a place that I felt wanted. And it's very small things that made me feel like I wasn't. For example, when I was moving all of my stuff, or like when I was living there for a bit, I had one spot where I could keep my stuff, and that was my room. Like, all of my stuff had to be in that room, and if any of my belongings went into, like, their space, they would always be really angry at me, or they would ask me to move it back to my room, and that just, for some reason, really rubbed me the wrong way.
So not feeling belonged or belonging?
Belonged, wanted, whatever.
Oh, not feeling wanted for me is always having to move. My previous foster family, I had to move because they had a baby on the way, and they just didn't want me and my brother anymore because they had their own kids.
I guess for me, not feeling wanted was like, I've been adopted since I was 24 months, so yeah, 2 years pretty much, and so I've been in the same family since. But the first 10 years of that was a lot of like abuse and a lot of emotional abuse. And so it was never about like all the hitting and stuff. It was more about the way I was told, the way I was treated, the things I was called. And like one of the biggest things is just being like, you're a waste of skin and oxygen. And so that killed me, you know. After 10 years of having that, it's like, do you really expect my mindset to go back to caring about me? It was always my dad first, my mom first, like people first over me. And if my dad wanted something a certain way, it would go his way. Even if it brought pain to me, it would go his way. Anybody in the house, right? And so when it says not feeling belonging or not feeling like you're welcome there, I completely understand that. And it actually really hurts me to know that youth are still getting like really hurt that way. And it was never about the physical part of it. It was always about the emotional part, the mental things that really scarred you. Because yeah, you can get hit around and stuff, and that hurts. But like nothing scars you more than being told to kill yourself or being told horrible things. And it's just like, after 10 years of that, what are you gonna do? Like, what's your mindset gonna be? And so, I mean, now things are great and it's completely done a 180. But I completely understand with that not feeling belonging, because when you're put in a house, you think this is my family. But when does family become enemies? When does that happen? Is it when you're out of the house? And so I think it's just really important to give youth that support, that belonging. So number 4 is the ministry not doing enough background checks on the family and or the youth. And so my opinion on this one is I am all for this. I completely agree, because I had a friend who was thrown right into a home, like an actual family, that he was like, I think it was like adopted, right? So he was adopted for a bit or something like that, and he was treated very unfairly. Like, he was put in a basement instead of an actual room. He wasn't allowed to eat at the dinner table. He was allowed to eat on the ground. He wasn't allowed to eat with his siblings or talk to anybody. They barely put him in school. And so this one time, he was looking through one of his parents' books, and it was something that was looking to adopt him. Like, it was one of these books that people check off what they want or don't want. And on it, they said they don't want a boy who's gay. They don't want whatever. They don't want anyone who is different. They just want one perfect child, if that makes sense. And so going back to this whole ministry not doing enough check on the family, that is very true, because they not only neglected him, they categorized him, because when he told them that he was gay, they completely disowned him, right? And so I think when a youth is put into a home, they shouldn't be put in a home just because that's the easiest place to put them, but put them in a permanent home that's going to like actually care for them.
And accept them.
And accept them, accept who they are, right? Because people change every day.
So the workers and the caregivers should know the youth's past and what stability and like level they are at when they come into their home. Number 5, their kids versus foster children. So foster parents usually have their own family already. They have their own kids, their own brothers and sisters, whatnot. So when a youth comes into the family, they have to fit in. And typically what happens from my experience is that the parents will treat their own biological kid way better than the youth in care.
Yeah, definitely. Another story about another friend. As I was saying about that story earlier about the friend who couldn't eat at the own dinner table or had their room downstairs, that's exactly how it was. See, like, the parents were treating the siblings much better. They're giving them rides, giving them money, letting them have dessert, whatever, right? Like, it's just the small stuff like that too. Like, letting your kids have dessert while the foster kid have whatever. They give them the scraps, right? So I definitely believe that, like, it's not fair when you're giving your own kids privileges while the foster kid just enough to go off by.
From personal experience, I would ask for something and it was just a flat out no. There was like no negotiating. I was like, hell no, you can't have that. And then when their real kids, biological kids, came in and asked for something, they're like, okay, yeah, right away. They, like, gave them money, and they had the freedom to do whatever they wanted. And I was, like, stuck in my room all day doing nothing. Number 6 is being forced into a certain religion. For me, it's mostly Christianity. Most foster parents give you the option of following the religion, but it's not really an option because you're, like, forced to go to church or, like, forced to pray at the table, and you don't necessarily agree with that. To them, it seems like it's a choice, but it really isn't, because I don't agree with praying. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable, but yet I still have to listen to you do it.
My previous foster family, they were Catholic AF. Like, I'm talking church 3 times a week, having to pray. If I didn't go to church, I would have to have, like, a timeout, no TV, stuck in my room all day. Like, there's been a point where I didn't want to go to church one time. I couldn't even have dinner. Like, it's not okay. I still remember the prayers. We had to pray before eating, before getting in the car to have a safe drive, church on Saturday night, church on Sunday morning, church on Wednesday night and Thursday night, youth groups, all these things that I didn't want to do, but I had to do because I was in their care. And if I didn't want to, like, do them, they would punish me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's bad. I think it kind of, like, reminds me, it's like throwing a youth into football even though they like soccer, right? It's like putting them in something that they don't agree with, but maybe there's another religion or even nothing at all that they want to do with this whole God, Jesus, Buddhist, whatever, right? But I like that. It's like you're putting a youth in something that they don't agree with. So number 7 is support. Support for youth in care, support for youth in foster families, support for youth in group homes.
I think there should be more of it. Most foster kids don't really know how to get the support they need. It's mostly their guardians that help them with that, but usually, like, the foster worker doesn't have time, or, like, they're so overloaded with stuff, they don't make you a priority, and, like, you need that because you're in jeopardy, or, like, you want to hurt yourself and you want to get help, but they just can't help you with it.
And I think it's like when you're being, let's say you're being put through different towns, different cities, different countries, right? Like, how are you supposed to find a counselor, a youth clinic, a place to go get birth control or condoms or whatever, snacks, right?
They provide that.
Like, yeah, it's like there's a bunch of small things that we need that people kind of overpass. So it's like, if you need birth control, how do you know you're going to get it? Let's say you took it in another city, you're in a new city, and you have no idea where to go or what to do. So I think it's really important that when a youth moves into a new household, a new place, even if it's down the road, give them those resources in case something bad goes wrong, and say in case that they need something. But just in general, I think every youth should be given those type of resources. But I do think it applies more to the youth in care, considering they're moved from here to there, from here to there.
I admit it's good for what they can do, but it could always get better. That's my opinion on it.
Even little things like giving a ride to school on a rainy day, people need support. Also, my biggest thing is I'm not someone to open up to a lot of people, so I would say lots of youth need that one person they can, like, look to and lean on, and not have to tell their story so many times and open up to so many people when they don't feel like it.
They should be able to find a one-stop shop.
Number 8 is aging out.
Things get complicated when that happens. You need support. You don't get it because you're out of the system. It's really dumb. People need to work on it. My thoughts.
Okay, I have a lot to say about this one, but I think just the very top one is the fact that it is not fair for youth to have to live on their own after 18. There are youth that are living with their parents and they're 30. There are youth that are living with their parents and they're 25. There are youth that are living with their parents for the rest of their life, right? And when you're only 18 years old, you're being put 19?
It's
19.
It's 19
years old. That's okay. That's only a year though. Like, that's insane. When you're only 19 years old, you're being put in a little apartment or house by yourself.
Right?
Where's the support? Where's the parents? Where's the people that you need to be there? And especially, like, work experience. How are they gonna? They don't know how to make a resume. It's like new. All these things are new. When their parents are there to help you, when the parents, like, just for not normal, but for youth that have been born through their parents and they just have a whole family, they get all that support they need.
Reaction? biggest
piece of shit out there.
I wouldn't say problem. It's just like the biggest
obstacle
that youth and care are facing. So as everyone else was saying, you literally just get cut off and dropped and kicked to the curb, basically.
You're homeless.
Yeah. I think aging out kind of, in a little way, ties in with all of the other things we were talking about, like support and having those relationships. And
are you kind of saying, like, if you have a supportive relationship, even when you age out, you have someone to go to that you know that can help you with moving out?
yeah.
Because my current foster parents right now, they are very supportive in that. They know I'm going to be moving out in a year, and they've already started buying me stuff. They've, like, told me over and over again that I am allowed back to their place, and I am part of their family. And more foster homes should be like that, I feel.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, one of my friends is the complete opposite of that. Like, their mom was like, get out of my house. And so now they have to go on independent living, and they're 17 years old. That's such a young age. Like, I was talking with them, and they're saying, like, oh, I'm excited, I'm happy I get to live on my own, but, like, in the end of the day, I've kind of had that experience of living on my own for a few weeks, and it's terrifying. It's so scary, and I hated it. Like, I needed my mom and my brother and all that. I just feel really bad, because, you know, on the outside, it's like, okay, I'm going to be independent, I have to learn to budget, I have to learn to do clean, I have to do this. But on the inside, it's terrifying. It was really scary for me, and I'm sure it's really scary for a lot of you to, like, just kind of be on your own, go to sleep in the room, all in this one house, this one apartment, all by yourself. And so I think when you're 18, like, we had a discussion on the last podcast about this, about if you should be given money to go to university or something like that, right? And I think they should be doing that, but it's not even about the money. It's about the support. It's about the networking. It's about the people, not just one support. It should be a bunch of supports that are calling up on them every single month, every week, right? Just to make sure that they're doing okay, because 18, 19, 20, that's a young age to be kicked out.
See, I'm the complete opposite of your friend. I am excited to move out. I am, like, praying that I move out, like, right away, and I am ready to be cleaning my own house. Like, I can invite anyone I want over, but, like, I am excited because I know that I'm gonna have the support.
And I think that's just the beauty of it. Like, some people are ready, and then some just aren't.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
With my office, because I'm Aboriginal, I'm with Yockmeath. It's kind of like a different office from other foster kids, but it's the same thing basically. We have a lady, she's 25, she's still kind of young. I don't know if that's offensive or not, but she's
young.
She's a good age. I don't know. But her job in Yockmeath is to actually help kids age out. But we don't really have a lot of kids aging out, because I would say most kids from my office are grade 10 and under. But we've had a few age out, and she was really good at her job, but unfortunately she moved away, and now we don't really have that person to step in and help anymore.
And there are cities like Abbotsford, for an example. They're getting a youth hub there, and we're having every single resource in Abbotsford there. I'm pretty sure, it's 14 organizations, something like that. And I think, like, who is it? Me and a few other youth are really trying to get the youth aging out of care some kind of support system in there, like we've been talking. But yeah, I think that's just really important in general, because, you know, there's some youth that are excited to move out, and then there's some that really don't know where to start, right?
Also, I'm just gonna add, there is a thing, you can apply for it 4 times. It's $1,500, or it's $1,500, and you can apply for it 4 times, and up until you're 24. So it can help with your schooling or your housing and whatever. So there's options, but you have to be qualified for it, kind of.
Do you know the website or contact info?
No. Well, just ask your foster people.
Ask your social worker.
This has been a product of First Call BC Child and Youth Advocacy Coalition.
This was an episode of As Word Spreads. Stay tuned for more of the world as youth see it.
Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, you think care. Mana mana boom bada 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 blah.